Hey, come catch this wave with the Fixx squad. The Fixx is in. I'm Mr. Soul, I'm tuning in. What you doing?
Got him. Look, real hip-hop revealed that it fits. Pure, you can feel it in the mix. Finally start pushing the culture forward, this is it. Proceed at your own risk. Got him. Beats, bars, of life, giving them truth in it. Screaming revolution when only a few minutes. My sentiments exactly everything that we do clutch. Another reason to turn the volume up. Shit, know what we stand on. Solid ground we land. Say it's no use, the culture is out of hand. But now out of reach, we gotta stick to the plan. Dark days put the sunshine in it. Good news, I'm proof that it's living. Yeah, revolving the art, the shot go with it. Keeping the beats on the block, don't miss it. Welcome
to the city, stand up. James left, but the king still reigns here. No tears, no love lost, no rain here. Delivers, I promise, Santa reindeer. Love for the city still resides here. Fix for your ailment, faith that resides outside the lines. Detox your mind, cause it matters. Art outside the box, we paint better. The Fixx is in, and we rock a channel. We rock with them for what's deep within. Expose those who talk but don't live. Expose those who talk but don't live. Take offense, judged by the fruit from the tree. But if the fruit tastes like the streets, and money is the fruit that they speak, so tell me whose face do they see? Repeat. Take offense, judged by the fruit from the tree. But if the fruit tastes like the streets, and money is the fruit that they seek, so tell me whose face do they seek? The Fixx is in.
Yes, sir. You're now tuned into the Fixx, your source for faith-infused hip-hop, R&B, and poetry. I go by the name of DJ Focus. Squad in here with me. What up, Rico?
What's up? How y'all doing? Y'all good?
You covered in pump today. You on the go, so you a little pumped today, huh?
I got way too much coffee.
Way too much coffee?
Too much coffee. I'm excited today.
I like it.
Huh?
I said you sound like it.
Yeah, I'm on the move. At the same time, we got a hot show for you today.
Yeah, we do. We
I know that's your line, folks.
I'm gonna say it's not your line.
No, it's all good.
I didn't need to say it. I need to put the energy behind it.
What up, T?
What's up? Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Hey, and world, she's back. You actually see Tierra Kali back today in like rare form. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, don't do that. Okay, I've been, I don't be wanting the background to be all in the. So I made sure that moving forward, that time is completely blocked out and we can be face to face because
I appreciate
you.
You
need the energy, especially on the days where Focus ain't had his coffee and Rico want us to look at his Dr. Cornel West picture. So somebody got to be out here with the energy.
See, we got to get prepared. We never know. We might have to move to a morning show. We get picked up by the right person. We might be that 6 a.m. show. You never know.
Ooh, child. Lord, I pray in the name that we be the midnight. Come on, midnight. Yeah. Let's be somewhere in the nighttime. He gonna sprinkle that sauce on the night. Yes.
Once again, you're tuned into the Fixx, and of course, our mission here is to expose the culture to positive but relevant music that keeps Jesus Christ at the center of the message. And yes, we do have another hot show once again. We try to stay consistent with these hot shows. We got a special guest going to tap in a minute. T, who we got joining us today?
So we have one of my closest friends, my boo, Tarsha McMillan. Formerly known as Tarsha Hamilton, which some of y'all probably still don't heard as that. But I can't wait. It's definitely gonna be a hot interview. Definitely gonna be eye-opening, a lot of revelation, and I'm gonna let her do all the talking of what she got going on next. But it's about to go. Like it's about to go down at the Fixx this morning. Not just because she's my friend, but because
go down.
Yeah.
Of course, y'all know we got fire music on the way too as well. We got a lot of new projects just dropped. Lecrae's Restoration project just dropped, and it's been driving the internet nuts. We definitely got to talk about that. What's the react? A lot of reactions, a lot of mixed emotions. It's been a minute since Lecrae dropped. We know when Lecrae drops, he always has a wide audience saying, "Okay, well, it was good. Nah, it wasn't that good. Subpar, whatever." So we'll chime into that too as well. Yeah, we got some stuff coming up.
One more thing.
Go ahead.
Got one more thing. Our brother Pastor Mike McClure won his first Stellar Award and nominated for a few more. So shout out to Pastor Mike McClure. If y'all haven't seen that interview, make sure y'all subscribe to our YouTube channel. and look at that Mike McClure interview.
Absolutely, it was fire. You beat me to it, Reek. I was about to bring that up, but yes, he won Stellars
and your Beaver this morning.
right. But no, it's huge. What Pastor Mike's been able to do over this last year. This year has just been, hey, as he said, big. Mm-hmm. So yeah, definitely shout out to our brother Pastor Mike Jr. We probably got to get him back on real soon too as well to talk about his whole experience. And yes, the Stellar Awards are going down tomorrow actually. So for everybody watching live, the Stellar Awards are actually going down tomorrow on BET. I want to say 7 p.m. I'll make sure I'll get that right time and re-shout that out. But definitely tap into the Stellar Awards, to see some of the best within gospel music. T still mad that Bizzle didn't make that list, but maybe Bizzle will make that list next year.
Don't even make me go off because it triggered. I'm triggered. I'm so triggered.
Hey, I'm with her.
I'm triggered. Mm-hmm. That's foolishness. I like what I want to call Bizzle right now. Like on some, I just want you to know, you always got an award in our book. It might not mean as much as getting one from the Stellars, but I'm triggered by that. And I think all his fans should be. This is where you sign petitions and you start making all of the noise that people be making. We making noise about the wrong thing. This is what we need to be cussing and fussing about. Not cussing, y'all know what I mean. Dang. I'm sorry. I get triggered every time somebody say he ain't make it. That's like saying Jay ain't make that was the moment Jay got nominated for 8 Grammys, he ain't get one. Right. That's what that is. Ugh.
Right.
Well, and I can't wait till we talk about our real talk topic. I had a little tongue twister there. Because that is why people leave in CHH. But so? We'll have to topic in a minute.
You think so? You think that's why they leave it?
Because it's foolishness. That's foolishness. Like, Bizzle didn't even make the list. Yeah. You can't have a conversation about CHH without Bizzle. It don't make sense. Mm-hmm. There are 5 artists you cannot talk about. You can't have a conversation about CHH with. Without having them in that fold. Bizzle is in the top 2. The only reason well, never mind. Go ahead. Sorry, I took over your whole look.
I'm with you.
Go ahead, man.
It's all good. So yeah, look, keep it locked. We're gonna go to a music break. We definitely got a hot interview coming up. We definitely got Tierra with the T coming up, and also too as well, we got Legal Hustle segment coming up today too as well. So you want to keep it locked because I'm telling you it's gonna be fire. Right now, let's get into well, you know what? No, let's get into this. Let's get into this.
There she is.
I think we got a hot guest here. You want to intro her, T?
Of course I do. Do you see the light? I look like a kid on Christmas morning. I'm like, because this is the crazy part about being friends with such an amazing person. You are also a fan. So like I still have the moments of like, oh yeah, can I have your autograph? But it's like I don't need to do that because we're whole sister friends. So anyway, this young lady, this beautiful chocolate thing in the bottom of my screen is Tarsha McMillan, also formerly known as Tarsha Hamilton. And when you talk about the voice of the people, when you talk about what is real singing, like that Aretha Franklin put something down in your soul singing, you have to mention her name. I'm talking about everything from singing with some of the greats that we all love to her own solo release project to just traveling, being able to travel the world with her gift. Y'all, this one right here, activist, worship leader extraordinaire, mother, and just all around awesome friend and confidant. I'm gonna let her tell you about herself because I can sit here and go down the resume and she won't get a chance, child. Don't let me be your cheerleader and your hype man. Like it's over with. Like you ain't gonna get no words in. But no, really, we're super excited to have her here. So, Fixx, we still going to the radio?
We right to it.
Let's hop in, yeah. So, welcome, Bo.
Happy to be here. Thank y'all for having me on this morning.
No problem.
Awesome. So, besides just your whole glow, because we're gonna get into your skincare regimen and everything. Because I know y'all see that glow. That ain't shea butter. That's natural water, and we'll get into that. But normally we kick off the show we're just asking our guests. So tell us a little bit about your faith story. How did you come to know Christ, and kind of walk us through that journey?
Well, hey girl, hey guys. Thank you for having me on.
No problem.
You look amazing this morning. My goodness.
We're going to get into that too. Yeah. She does look, yeah, it's a reason. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Carry on.
Fabulous. So, of course, I'm the typical was born in church. That's pretty much where that started. Being born and raised in what we call the Apostolic Church, and grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, and that's what was ingrained in us. And I would say I accepted Christ probably when I was about 9 years old. I think is the earliest I remember being baptized. And then by the age of 12, I received the Holy Spirit, the gift of the Holy Spirit, and that definitely enhanced my walk with God. But of course, growing up, all into, you're growing up, it's that's life. But, life ran its course. But that's where my earlier time started with my faith, and with singing, of course, started early. I was like 4 when I sang my first little solo in church, and I've been singing since. And initially, I actually wanted to be an R&B singer when I was around 10 or so. My first song I ever wrote was called Boy, 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 I think. I don't even remember the lyrics, but it was an R&B song about a little boy in the neighborhood I had a crush on. I was staying on 142nd in Harvard. Never forget.
Look like you went back to that place.
I did. I was like 11. Don't remember songs though. But my parents pretty much shielded me and just kept me like in the church and protected me from the whole, music industry thing. I was just telling somebody that last night, like me and Beyonce, we're the same, born the same year. And when I look at her earlier videos, I have early videos as well of me singing, with my brother and all of that. But my parents didn't put me, throw me into the industry. But now I understand why. I was covered. It was for, for now. That wasn't supposed to be my walk. But that is what I desire. Whitney Houston was like my favorite all-time singer, still is.
Make perfect sense.
I sound nothing like her, but I love her. but yeah, that's where my early walk started, and my walk just kind of grew, just being in church, and then the things that we were facing throughout my childhood. It was a lot going on. Parents were sick. I don't know if we want to go into all of that right now, but yeah, it was just a lot. But we were raised to keep our faith in God. I never saw my parents waver when it came to worshiping and praising God. That was what was ingrained in us. It's praise, and so I grew up knowing and believing, if you had nothing else, you had God. If everything else was lost, you knew you had your praise. That was something that nobody could take from you. Nobody could take those intimate times of worship from you, when you have nothing left to say, nothing left to give. I can fall on my face. And I still use those methods today. That is what holds me, keeps me grounded.
Yeah.
Is those tools that my parents gave early on.
And so just throughout your life, where was one point where those tools like had to be utilized? Like, just, this is the moment, like, it makes sense why they laid the foundation, and I gotta use this right here. Like, what was maybe a rock bottom moment where those tools kind of help dig you out of that?
A few rock bottom moments. But I would say one of the first, my dad died when I was 16 years old. He died from complications of AIDS. It had advanced by that time. And so when I was 16, my dad passed. I thought it was a heart attack he had. And then my mom, had a conversation with us, sat us down. She just had to go ahead and tell us. It was around close to Christmas, I remember, because he died November 22nd, 97. And she had to tell us, like, hey, this is what your dad passed away from, actually, because we kept asking questions. Like, I don't understand, And she said, and I'm HIV positive.
Wow.
and that my whole world just crashed. Everything that I knew about life seemed to almost have been a lie, in a sense, because you're being deceived to believe that you're going to have your parents around, not knowing that they actually were dying and holding this secret, together. They didn't want to tell us. They didn't want to tell family. They were going through this together. So when my dad died, it was like my mom was left alone. So she had her twin sister, which is my Aunt Sandy, and that's who she had with her to sit down with us. But we were told, of course, not to say anything. And we continued to go to church, never missed church. Continued to go about our school lives, our church lives, as if nothing changed. People knew that when we were grieving the loss of my father, but they had no idea that we were grieving the loss of everything. Yeah. The loss of our lives as we knew it changed, because now you pretty much, mom just told me that you have a death sentence as well. And so if daddy just died, that means you're going to die too. And she continued to push through. She continued to attend church as long as she could before she couldn't, till she got so sick that she couldn't. But that was just that thing that earlier on where we had to utilize those tools. And then my freshman year at Kent State University, the spring semester was when I lost my mom. And shout out to, all my Kent State Voices of Testimony people. They really became family for us, and they're friends of ours still to this day, 20 years later, still friends of ours. It just really bonded everybody together, but they held us up. We were these young people in college, praying, praising, worshiping, covering one another, interceding for one another. I was using those tools. That's all I knew to do. What I did not do and what tools were not given to me were therapy. And I would find later in life how important it was to have gone, that we really should have been put into therapy. Church is great. It's awesome. But you can't just leave it at that. You can't just leave it at praise. You just can't leave it at worship. You need all the tools, and I did not know so much damage had been done, trauma to my mental state at that young age. To get those losses back to back really changes the course of how you turn out as an adult. And it really does change some things in the brain too, is what my sister explained to me. She's been in mental health for over 20 years now.
I'm actually talking about that, because can you and really elaborate a little bit more on why that's so important for Black folks to start talking about therapy? Because here you are, 11. You said 11, right? Was when you lost your father?
16.
16. So 16 when you lost your father, and then literally within this time frame you lose your mom, and then
2.5 plus years later, I just turned 19 when she died.
And so that is trauma. So when we don't label certain things as trauma, they say in the Black community we have more PTSD than soldiers coming home from Iraq, because we don't take and say what you just said. Like, that traumatized me. And so we, growing up in church, where they tell us pray, go worship, go put it on the altar, leave it there. God will pick it up and do it. And so you said something so important. I just really want to drive that home for the listeners and the people watching. Like, you need all of it. Like, prayer and therapy it is okay to go. So talk a little bit about
therapy is essential.
Thank you. Therapy is essential, because that's the trigger word, or the word for 2020. It is essential to go to therapy and still praise and pray, because we believe prayer works. We've seen it. We've seen God change things. But we also believe that therapists are his little angels on earth, if you will, to help us navigate through some of that stuff. So can you talk a little bit about just what would you say to the Black community, or just people listening? It ain't even just got to be Black folks, but to women, to people going through trauma and trying to deal with what it looks like to go to therapy.
What I found is that, and I think we all know that, it's definitely a cultural thing for us. not saying other cultures don't have secrets, because I do know people from other cultures, and they all say every family has its secrets, right? But I think in the Black culture, it's ingrained in us even more. And I think the history of slavery has a lot to do with that. You're quiet, you grin and you bear it. You can't show those signs of weakness. If you cry, you look weak. You can't break down in front of them. Yeah. And I think that kind of was passed on down to us too. And I think heads of families did it for their families too, to hold that strength, to hold that composure. Like, we don't break, we don't break in front of the kids. We don't break in front of our wives. We don't break in front, we hold it down, because that's what was passed down to us. Don't cry, don't cry. Like my mom's twin, which, I'm hoping something about that changes, but she does not cry much. But I think that can be a big problem too, though, because you're holding all this stuff in. But her thing is always, I don't want to cry. I don't want to cry, because when I cry, I get sick. No, auntie, when you don't cry, you stay sick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I really believe there's some science to that behind that, which, that's a whole nother type of subject.
Yeah.
But it's a culture thing. And so it didn't take, like my sister, that's what she is. She's a licensed professional counselor. Mm-hmm. So she went through those same traumas that I did, but her path, she chose to go on. She chose to help people. We both went into areas where we help people heal. Mm-hmm. She does the therapy side of it. Me was music. I consider what I do to be music therapy. Yeah. I didn't go to school for it, but I went to life school. I'm still in school. It's very important for Black people to break the stigma attached to mental health. Mm-hmm. And not see it as a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength that you can acknowledge. I have a problem, I have an issue, I have these traumas. I need help, on knowing how to navigate through life now that everything in my life has changed. Mm-hmm. Everything about me has changed. When I lost my dad, I was no longer the Tarsha who had a daddy. I had to become something else. Mm-hmm. Right when you're trying to adjust to that, I lose my mom. Right at the peak of becoming a woman. I just turned 19. She had just had her 40th birthday. I'm 39. I'll be 40 in March. My mother was dying and fighting for her life when she was my age right now. So it's like a big thing for me and my sister to hit 40. She's 40. Her goal is to hit 41, to live past the year my mother lived. Yeah. That's crazy that's our thing. Like, my goal is just to get there. But it's important that you address those traumas. And Shantae used to try to make me, she was like, you got to go to counseling, But she said they teach people, you can't force people to go. They have to be willing and ready to receive counsel. You can kind of gently nudge them, but that's something you can first. Because therapy can't be effective if people aren't ready, if they aren't open. Then you're just sitting there and you're wasting time. You're wasting your time. You're wasting that therapist's time. And money. And money, right? So you have to be at a place where you are ready. And I finally hit a brick wall and had to reach that place of going to therapy. Last December, I crashed because I never went, but that wasn't instilled in us early on that this is what we do. If we start early, start when they're young, and start them in therapy, letting them know it's okay to talk to people and receive counsel and, talk about those feelings. If it's not taught to them early on, then they're going to carry that with them into adulthood and think, oh, I'm okay. Mm-hmm. I was able to hide a lot of my pain. I was able to thank you. I was able to hide a lot of my pain by touring. So I was able to, music became my escape. So when my daddy died, I continued to sing in church. That was my high. When my mom was dying and died, I was a part of Voices of Testimony at Kent. I was singing. You would never know we were going through the things we were going through. Yeah. And I would use that voice and that power. That was how I was able to release those things after she died. Like I sang at both my parents' services, funeral services. Didn't break down crying. I got through the songs. That was always my strength, was the music. Mm-hmm. And then, my brother, the year after my mom passed, I think it was like the year or so. Yeah. He had contracted HIV himself by the time he was 17. By the time he was 18, he had full-blown AIDS. Jesus. The only boy, my only brother. It's only 3 of us. So, of course, I'm just kind of like, wow, this thing is just taking my whole family out, and we're not in Africa.
Literally. That's a whole, that's a whole nother one. That's a whole nother show. Yeah.
So I'm like, well, what do we do now? Yeah. And so again, continue to sing, and at that time, that's when I ended up out on the road with Anthony Hamilton, and I was touring with him during that time. So I was able to deal with a lot of that. And I went on the road with him when I was 22 years old. Wow. Mind you, my mom had died when I was 19. So there's only a few years in between. No therapy, nothing. Grin and bear. I could be going through the worst thing in my life, but y'all would never know. You can never know, because I know how to wear the face. You're taught how to put a face on, and you just keep pushing, because that is what we do. That's what we do. And that's what I did. I toured for years. Later, of course, married. That was a lot, being young. I got married at 24, then, and the tour life and going, and being married to a celebrity, that has its own pressures. Yeah. Remember, y'all, this is the same 16-year-old girl. And that's it. I'm going back to 16 because that's when that big trauma hit. Yeah. I don't think that little girl grew up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm still that hurt girl who never addressed those issues. Mm-hmm. So then you bring these issues into a marriage. Yeah. With somebody else who has their own issues, they're coming in. So you do the best that you can. And then, my brother passes away at some point. So in 2009, he dies at the age of 26. That right there, though, that hurt worse than my mom and dad, because you grow up with your siblings,
Yeah. Yep.
He and I grew up with this. I even had brought him on the road with us the last 2 years of his life. So he had a chance to go to South Korea and the UK and LA. Like, he was living it up. He was on the road styling the whole tour, the band.
He was a cold stylist.
He was doing a great job. The last big thing he styled was the 2009 Grammys. And that was when Anthony won his first Grammy with Al Green. Michael styled us for that.
I just watched that video. I just watched that video the other day. Yeah.
And Michael fell ill. He was sick while we were out there. Mm-hmm. And then he was diagnosed with cancer, because the disease had just kind of done its thing. He ended up with lymphoma cancer, but it was in his 4th stage. So by March, he had got that diagnosis. I stayed home from off the road and became my brother's caregiver. Yeah. And I was at the hospital every day when he would come home, and he would come home with me. And Anthony continued to tour, life continued to go on, and it was just me and my brother. Mm-hmm. And I think there's some learning lessons even in that, but for 3 months, and then he died June 1st, 2009. That was a big hit. And then I didn't know to do anything but to keep going from there. So I go right into activism work, and I start taking meetings. So I took, meetings in Chicago, Atlanta, Charlotte with rain. My plan was to go to Cleveland, to DC, hitting all these heavy areas with HIV. And then by the turn of the end of 2009, my marriage was falling apart. You know, there were some things going on. I ain't putting the business in the street, but you know.
Right.
Things happened, and that was another hit, you know, and I was just kind of like, dang, where is it gonna let up for me? Tried to recover from that, ended up getting pregnant with the twins that following year. And I called them, they definitely were lifesavers for me and my sister because we had experienced so much death, and you know, and then these lights come into our lives, and they are these beings that are descendants of our parents and the ones we've lost. And then I gave birth to them in 2010. By 2011, when I'm working on my J. Penelope album, had just finished it, found out I was pregnant with another, which ended up being my third baby. So it was a lot of transitions, a lot of life-changing moments happening like back to back.
Like there wasn't a break.
Mind you, y'all, there's still the 16-year-old girl.
Yeah. During all of it. And you know what? I want us to hop into what that transition looked like after all of these transitions when we come back from this music break. Because when we come back, I really want to dive into. So the babies are here. Everything is like at this brink of literally falling to pieces. But you got these little lights. And then like because you mentioned J. Penelope, which is a new kind of a new baby. And so like it was a lot of newness going on, but there was still this other thing kind of, and how did we break through all of that and emerge to the Tarsha that we know today? So
yeah,
focus.
Keep it locked. You're tuned into the Fixx.
Uh-oh.
There's one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and
more than a La Benz. Yeah, so it's water. Yeah, it's water for me. It's water. Yeah, it's water for me. Ay. They saying I make it look easy. It's a whole lot of work like I'm reading. I'm beating some autumn, all they not showing, they steady won't read me. Focus like I'm on Adderall. Hungry, so he gonna feed me. Grace thinking like me. Look, girl getting on my nerves, she be going crazy. She saying that I don't meet her standards. How you do me, baby? Family secrets got me questioning my faith. If mom still live in the condo, give it to God, so you know that it's water. Yeah, it's water for me. It's water. Yeah, I just make it peace. It's water. Yeah, it's water for me. It's water. Yeah, it's water for me. Bang, the click, pulls out, ain't like Rick. Been through some days, I'm drip. Been through the rain, drip. Yeah, it's water. Yeah, you know that it's water for me. It's water. Yeah, it's water for me. And that is water for me. We going up, it's 400 degrees. I got a body, she fly up for me. I got the spirit, we fly overseas. Spend the week, cause we mop those stuff. We rock those stuff. Splash and the nigga drip, drop. Heavily lifted because of raw drop tops. Oh, yeah. We came from the ground up, we graduated from the clay, yeah. Don't make a sound, get a stick in the mouth when you silent. Grab out the pencil, I'ma lean in, no solo. Bubble on my hip, no solo. Make a minute like it's sipping on a solo. It's water. Yeah, it's water for me. It's water. Yeah, I just make it breeze. It's water. Yeah, it's water for me. It's water. Yeah, it's water for me. Bang, the click, pulls out, ain't like Rick. Been through some days, I'm drip. Been through the rain, drip. Yeah, it's water. Yeah, you know that it's water for me. It's water. Yeah, it's water for me. When you see me, it's water. Going nuts on every track, they start calling me cover. I need me a proverb. She gotta be hooded, this money's a doctor. They say it's a virus, but I'm a survivor. They try to kill me cause young P is the problem. Full five about the salvo. I'm not sure what they told you. I drip out of the whole food. Ain't no cap when I roll through. It's the way let me mold you. God knew what it was doing when I came through. In this bag, it's a thing in the head full. I was slicker than the head full of kid too. She asked how you get it out. She said, it's water. Yeah, it's water for me. It's water. I just make it breeze. It's water. Yeah, it's water for me. It's water. Yeah, it's water for me. You know what, bang, the click, pulls out, ain't like Rick. Been through some days, I'm drip. Been through the rain, drip. Yeah, it's water. Yeah, you know that it's water for me. It's water. Yeah, it's water for me.
I never seem to have it. I'm losing
And over I ask myself, where does time go? It was my goal.
Welcome back. You're tuned back into the Fixx, your source for faith-infused hip-hop, R&B, and poetry. Just came off a music set. We actually started it off with the young man out of Jacksonville, Keydron Bryant, with I Just Want to Live, 12-year-old. Powerful song by that young man. We also played Aaron Cole's new track, Water Me, featuring Paris Careers. And the track that just went off is our special guest, Tarsha, featuring Anthony Hamilton with I'm Ready. The soulful, just uplifting voice. It was fire. I appreciate that track. Can you talk a little bit, Tarsha, about that song, the inspiration behind it, when you were recording that song?
Yes. I don't know if you guys can see me because I don't know what happened to my screen.
Yeah, we can see you.
Yeah, we see you just fine.
I can't see y'all. Y'all, this is this technology.
Honey.
Okay, well, as long as you can see me.
Yeah, we can see you.
You said the inspiration behind the song?
Yes.
Okay, so that song actually was written in 2009, some months after my brother passed. And I remember one of Anthony's nephews, which, I still consider him my nephew, he was going through a tough time at the time. He was actually having some issues with his first child's mother and her family. He wasn't able to see his daughter, and he was just going through a lot of stuff, and it was really hard on him. And they were kind of using his past mistakes and stuff against him as to say, like, he wasn't worthy to be in his child's life. And so he was just ready to do something different. And it just kind of, it inspired me to write that song. And at the time I was in Huntsville, Alabama, working with a producer named Kelvin Wooten on some new material, which that album never came out. So this is one of the songs that was from that project. And I started writing again. And that was one of the songs. And I just wrote it there in the hotel room. And when we got to the studio, we put it down, and I asked Anthony if he wouldn't mind, joining me on the song. And so he went ahead and did the song with me. So that's where that inspiration from that song came from.
Sis, I've been listening to you this morning. You've just been inspiring me. Just your faith story in itself. Can you talk a little bit? Has there ever been a moment or a time where, like, you feel like your faith is kind of like weathered a little bit? Like, you've been through so much. Was there ever, I think we all kind of have it. But what was that moment that kind of like where you always kind of question God, like, God, why is all this happening to me?
Yeah, it definitely happened. I think probably the deepest times were when it was finally hitting me that my brother wasn't coming back. I really felt like a piece of my soul had been taken away when he died. And my sister and I and some other close friends and family were with him when he actually passed. We're in the room with him. And I remember, laying my head next to him. Like, those are like really, they're beautiful moments. They're traumatic and beautiful at the same time. It's the weirdest thing. Like, I wouldn't have not wanted to be there, but the fact that I had to see that. Those were the times where you're in between that. I believe God, but then you're like, I don't understand why. And it's once everybody's gone and the lights are out and you have to deal with the nighttime, and it's quiet, is when you reach those moments where it's so painful, it almost feels unbearable. Every night is excruciating. I even remember my doctor at that time offering, sleeping pills if I wanted to have any. And at that time, I was so terrified of adding any medications at all. And at that time, I wasn't on any type of meds or anything. So I'm like, no, not to go to sleep, because I always heard these stories, horror stories about artists especially, getting hooked to these sleeping pills. And then next thing you know, you need a pill so you can stay up, and then take a pill again and go to sleep. And I said, if I start this now at this time in my life where it's so hard and it's so traumatic, I could very well end up in a situation where I could become dependent on this medicine so that I can sleep. And so, which I believe that was God steering me to, because for some reason I was like, no. And I just toughed it out. It was like, I'll get through this. But in those dark times, I think the biggest time too was after my split from my marriage, and I'm this single mom with these 3 young children. So when I chose to leave in 2013, my youngest baby was just turning 1 and the twins were 2. So it was like I had triplets. And that was very hard for me because, life continued to go on for my ex and continued to tour and all of that. And I was provided for financially. However, this is how I learned in life that you can have money, you can have physical comfort around you, but if you're not okay here and you're not okay here, none of that means anything. And I would tell people that in a heartbeat. People go, they like, no sleep, we got to get this bread. I know so many people that have the bread and are not at peace, and you feel like you have nothing. I'm telling you now, like, prosperity comes in many forms. Prosperity does not just mean coins. Prosperity means health. Prosperity means peace of mind. Prosperity means my spirit being okay, my soul being, like, everything working together. To be able to have lots of money is just a plus. Because there's so many people that have, in that sense, why did Kate Spade hang herself? She was one of my favorite dress designers. Love her stuff. She hung herself because of a heart issue. Her heart was broken, within her marriage. I mean, millions of dollars. One dress costing you $500-$600, depending on what type of dress it is, for just one. So you can only imagine, why did Don Cornelius blow his brains out? You think about those things: success, money. People have shown us throughout the years in entertainment that money really don't carry that much weight. You know what I mean? When it comes to your peace of mind, that's something you cannot buy. That is the one thing you cannot buy.
And it's so much truth to that, because oh my goodness, even being not necessarily rich, but just comfortable still, like like you said, it could be everything else around you, could be whatever, but that piece of sleep, getting actual for real rest and waking up refreshed and not crazy in your mind, that's something you can't purchase. That's
you can't.
And so what piece of mind, or even just, how did you have to deal with the piece of, and kind of transition a little bit to where you are now? You started off in the church, born in the church, God was everything, and your music reflected that to a certain extent. But you wanted to do rock soul. Rock soul was your heart. R&B, you had some heart in R&B. So
let's say, so rock soul, that's a term that Fantasia came up with and uses. That's her thing. Actually, in 2011, James and I were creating something we called Rock and Soul.
Rock and Soul, okay.
Yes, that was the J. Penelope thing that we were rocking with, where it was rock mixed with soul music.
Okay.
And that was something that J. Penelope's album definitely represents. There's no confusion about it being rock and it being soul music.
Absolutely.
Perfect fusion of it. We did not give it the light that it deserved. Why? Well, because my mind wasn't right and my spirit wasn't right. That's what I'm saying. Everything always goes back to that mental health piece.
Yeah.
That had been the biggest challenge in my life. Really was being at peace. And so when everything is going crazy around me, I was shut down. So you have all these, I'm probably sitting on 2 projects, music projects that have not seen the light of day.
Would you ever release them? You ever gonna release them?
I'm definitely going to release them. I have the most beautiful person in my life right now who is determined, like their whole purpose in my life is to make sure I complete everything that I had set out to do. You know, release the things I never released.
Yeah.
Every idea should be put into action. And
I'm so here for him. I need the world to know I'm so here for this man. I am so here for him. I want to say Uncle Bishop. That's what I want to say. I'm so here for him. See, and you can see the glow on your face. So a little insider to our viewers. When you're friends with someone, you can see the growth and depending on what level of friends, because it's levels to this thing. But what I have seen as far as just the growth and what it looks like to have real help, like when the Word of God talks about a helpmate, a rib, all of these different terms and referring to what your spouse should look like and be like, I can see the fruit already. It ain't even been that long. Y'all don't understand. When I said this glow ain't shea butter, like it is the glow. It's the glow of deciding I'm going to do something different. I'm going to stick to this difference. I'm going to allow myself not just to be loved, but to give love in the purest form of what God really intended to be. And that therapy piece. And I think that, Tarsha, that's why just that push of, no, that mental health piece is so critical. Because as amazing as he is, he still wouldn't be able to be what he needs to be to you if he wasn't ready.
I had to be at that place.
Yeah.
That song, I'm Ready, is so prophetic, actually. You know, when I wrote that song, I was not even in a place of ready. Again, my nephew was the inspiration behind the piece, but as I wrote it, it was very inspiring, but I didn't even realize back then I was nowhere near ready. And that music just sat. And I didn't release this one as a single until 2015 or so.
Yeah.
Where I just sat on it. December, Tierra literally, has seen me at my absolute lowest. And I think that's what happened last year, probably was the absolute lowest I've been. And that's what I didn't realize was that with each trauma that was happening, it's almost like you're digging this hole and then it's there and you level it out. Yeah. And then something else happens, it just digs deeper and then you level it out. Like, okay, I'm okay. Not realizing, like, before you know it, you like in that get out phase where you're like, seriously. Like the movie Get Out.
Yes, seriously. But can we talk about how, because we keep kind of hitting that, like, oh no, she was there for this and she was there for that. Can we talk about the squad though? That gotta surround you like a village, that he'll surround you with. And even in those moments where I think we are at our absolute lowest, about to lose our minds, Lord have mercy, the little drops of people or things or something he'll say to you like, I'm still here. What was that for you? Maybe a song that kind of sang you through it, if you will, or something somebody said, or a scripture. What was that thing that was like?
I definitely think it's the people I have around me, although I tend to isolate often when I'm going through a tough time. Again, I'm so old school when it comes, like, y'all, I know how to pray heaven down like the mothers.
Me, a whole prayer closet before the War Room was a movie or whatever that movie was. Yeah,
I always had a war room.
Yeah.
So when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, that's what.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Literally go to the closet.
Yeah.
So, like my house in Ohio, I have a designated closet for prayer. And that is where I would go. And that is where I went to finally break this thing off of me. I keep going back to December because that was a time, and it's part of my testimony. I'm very transparent. I feel like you don't help people if you aren't willing to talk about, if all I can talk about are all the great things, but never explain how I got there, you're not really helping anybody. Yeah. My goal isn't to have people envy me or, oh, she just had it all good. And, she was married to this person and she got a chance to do this. And when you have no idea the pains that I struggled to get here or the losses I had to take, that were my sacrifices that I didn't even choose to make,
Yeah. I would rather have them than the stuff they'll think that I'm enjoying.
I say it all the time. If I could have my parents back and do away with all the extra, I'd take it in a heartbeat. If I could have my brother back, I would take it in a heartbeat. And I would much rather be able to just pay bills and be cool and have my family. Period. Y'all can buy the extra. Mm-hmm. Y'all can have the IG and the bling and all of that stuff and the pictures and the 1 million followers. Y'all can have all of that. But to have family, love, peace of mind is something people dream of having. And some may never get a chance to experience because they're looking for it in other things. Yeah. So yes, in December, I did something that I thought I would never do, that I said I would never do. And I actually took one too many pills on purpose. Mm. And I said, this would be the time where I'm going to end it all. Mm. And my sister said what was the most scary thing was because I was not your typical suicidal person. I'm not suicidal. I don't think about committing suicide. Mm. But literally in that moment of frustration and anger, I said, if this is what life is about, then I don't want it. Yeah. Because I literally took the whole collection of everything I had gone through. And by this time, I'm at the lowest of the lows, too far down to dig my way back up. How am I going to get out of this? Out of this deep emotional, painful state of mind. Death got to be better than this, Yeah.
And that's a real place.
They look at my life and be like, oh, you live in a big house though. Like, you can pay your bills. Like, you don't even got to do a 9 to 5. Like, you good. What you complaining about? I'm telling you, none of that stuff means anything if you don't have a peace of mind. Yeah. I was still that broken 16-year-old girl from Cleveland. Mm-hmm. I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth in any type of way. I grew up literally all over Cleveland. We moved like every 2 years. Mm-hmm. Probably the longest we stayed anywhere was 2 years. Mm-hmm. I mean, literally all the way from Huff to 110th, like over there by Woodland, Morris Black, like literally lived all over.
No, real Cleveland. Yeah.
Cleveland.
Like not Shaker, not Cleveland Heights, not the real Cleveland. Yeah.
I thought we was doing something when we moved to East Cleveland because it was at least closer to. We were staying on them apartments on the top of the hill, up there, roach infested. I mean,
but it was still closer to the border of Cedar, like beach.
Right.
You said what?
No,
the real Cleveland was supposed to be a suburb too. Go figure.
It was supposed to be, especially back then in the 90s. It was supposedly better than being in Cleveland. So we thought it was.
But it was the real Cleveland, and your story was real, and your pit was real, and all of it was very real.
That's the part people don't know or don't see. So people listen to me talk and they see I'm just well traveled. So I may not maybe dress like the typical Cleveland girl or present myself a certain way, but that's what happens when you travel. And
exposure.
You get exposed to different cultures, and your mind is just open to different things. But I could have easily been a statistic, easily. Of course, I could have. I could have chose drugs as my means of coping, and got stuck and been one of the crackheads walking the streets. Easily, I could have been somebody baby mama of like multiple guys and had like 5, 6 kids by different daddies. Easily, because I'm looking for love in the wrong place. But God blocked a lot of things and protected me from a lot of things that I didn't even know, because he literally preserved me for what it was I'm doing now and what is to come. And
what is that? What was why did God have to keep his hands on you? Like, where does he have you now that is making sense? Like, all of that, all of the pits, it made sense because I needed to be right here, right now. And this is what we're doing. Talk about Abba, what's coming up, all of these different things that I'm like, it's so much that you got, and I like want to tell, spill the guts, but I'm like, that's why you're here. Go ahead.
Well, God
gotta
let somebody come out. We have our Moseses, in the body. And, I think a lot of people can be a Moses if they so choose to be. You have to be willing to, like, I'll be that one. And then some people, he just grabs you up, and that's that scripture where it says, many are called, but few are chosen. Mm-hmm. And I do believe I am chosen. And I there are things that I can't speak on, the things that I shared today, had I not gone through them.
Yeah.
There isn't a way people would believe that God would honor his word and do what he said he would do and give people hope if he didn't put me in a place that I am right now. Mm-hmm. People need to be able to see the hope. And it took a pastor some years ago. I was about to do a reality show that was presented to me back in 2014. And I just split from my ex, and I was in a very broken state, but these opportunities were coming to me. I've had more than one show approach me, and they wanted to put this show together about getting back into the music and juggling motherhood. And it was going to be with a few other women that were getting back into the music. And I remember going to my then pastor about it, Pastor Shamari White, here in Charlotte, North Carolina, at Half Life Church. Shout out to Half Life. Mm-hmm. And he told me then, he said, I don't think this is a good time for you to do that. I don't want people capitalizing on your pain, is what he said.
That's good.
And he said, you'll have your opportunity again to have that platform. But when you do, you'll be coming from a healed place, not a broken place. Mm-hmm. And he pretty much was like, in that way, that's how God gets the glory from your story and your testimony. When people are on TV and they're just totally broken, that's entertainment, pretty much for people. Like, what are we getting out of seeing your brokenness if you're always broken? You're not getting any help. You're not getting any better. It's just drama, drama, drama. And that's all you're seeing, versus a person being at a place of where they've been victorious and they've overcome and continuing to overcome, because this walk is continual. But to be able to tell a story and don't look like anything you've been through, where people would see you and how you're composed and would say, I would have never thought that. Some people you see and be like, they rough around the edges and be like, I know you got a story. Like, yeah, you that one.
Right.
And they have
like you look like what you've been through.
You look like what you've been through. And those people are used by God too, because they attract people who are there and they're like, okay, they speak in my language. Yeah. But they're not doing that no more. I get that. But that's what I'm saying. Literally, I have to convince people of where I'm from because they don't believe me. Like, no, y'all don't. I wanted to put up a quote one day and be like, y'all don't believe a woman from Cleveland? Make her mad.
Put this on the show.
Facts.
She will show you where she from.
Wait.
My sons know what. Do you want me to go Cleveland on you?
Come on, let's go. What you got?
That face said it all. That was it. That face was a whole me. That face was all me.
If I got to come in that room, it's gonna be over.
And so what's? Because look, this the quietest. First of all, y'all understand this the quietest I ever heard them. I'm like, they ain't came in the room yet. So.
That's because my love came and took him to the park.
Oh, pretty. See, help me.
Run around.
To all the sisters watching, if he can't help you, do y'all hear me? I ain't talking about you helping him. You always got to put him back together. We've been doing Build-A-Bears for years. I'm over it. If he cannot help you, then what is he here for? Like,
I didn't even ask. See, offer. You know,
there you go. The difference.
You need it quiet there while you do your interview. And listen, y'all should be able to build together. The things that I have coming. He and I recently just signed contracts together. We're in business together now.
Okay.
So, and there'll be some things. I can't really announce that right now, but it is a show. And I'll be posting that soon. I wish I could have like promoted it here. Y'all got to bring me back. But y'all, if y'all put the little pieces together, remember I just shared a previous story with you about when the pastor said the time will come around again.
That part. So you ain't got to say it. We picked up what you put down.
Absolutely.
And when you're ready to release it with the Fixx got you. The exclusive, y'all have to come back and hear.
So, you know, but with ABBA, I will talk about ABBA. ABBA stands for, and it's AABA. It stands for Artists Affected by AIDS. That is something I'm launching on 11/11 this year. We're going to do a soft launch this year. Due to COVID, I couldn't do like my big event like I want to do, but next year we're planning to do the whole big, you know, we're going to do a red ball and all of that. So you guys got to come for that. But it's an organization, nonprofit organization that I'm launching, and it's pretty much breaking the stigma and also educating people on HIV/AIDS through various art forms. I'm talking about art from what T. Khalid does, from what I do, from what you guys do. I'm talking about painters, people who sculpt, people who do hair, culinary arts, anything with the arts. This is an avenue for us to be able to contribute to the HIV/AIDS community with bringing awareness to it. Because, you know, the arts always, it attracts people. Music attracts people. Beauty attracts people. It takes art to do that. And this is a way we can draw people, and then also they be educated through that. So I have like a plethora of so many different ideas and events that we'll be holding throughout the year for families affected by it. Also educational things and testing, you know, mobile testing centers, because we're so caught up in this whole COVID pandemic. I was like, it still ain't topped the numbers from people living with HIV/AIDS.
Period.
That's a pandemic within itself.
Yeah.
On top of that, the fear that they're living with, that they might get COVID and their immune systems are already compromised. Like, so that's where I'm thinking, you know why? Because it ravaged my family. Like, it literally tore through my family. Mm-hmm. And it was only by the grace of God that I didn't end up being one who was infected, because I didn't always do things the right way. When I was hurting and trying to cope, you know, I was, you know, you get a little promiscuous and stuff, and you just don't care.
Right.
So I was a hoe in these streets. That ain't what it was.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you don't always use protection,
right.
And you could easily have been that person.
Yeah, because you don't have to be able to get it.
But again, God blocked things and preserved me for this time. He trusted me that I would do exactly what it is I'm doing today. I'm being a mouthpiece. I promised my brother I would speak for him. He told me, make sure there aren't any more Michaels.
Wow.
Make sure there aren't any more little boys who are going out here broken and ending up, you know, staying in the same cycle, following the same path, you know, brokenness of their parents. And so we're out here to heal people. So my sister is joining with me. She's actually one of my board members. And with her 20-year experience in professional counseling, her bringing the mental health piece to ABBA and all of that, like, I'm excited. So it's going to be amazing.
I literally cannot wait to see everything unfold and just come to pass, and to drop them 2 projects And when we come back again, I want to hop into a little bit of some of your opinions about some things. We still got to do. I still got to spill my tea, y'all, because I got my ears been to these streets. I've been listening. It's with y'all. So we want to keep you on, T, if that's cool with you, to just kind of weigh in on some of the stuff and our real talk topic. Just kind of weigh in on that, and plus I gotta see my nephews. Like I just give them a little quick cameo.
Look, they're not here. If I would have known, I had to peek their head in a wave.
Yeah, just never mind, because y'all have to see them. They're the most adorable. So just they are a show within themselves.
That is what.
Never mind. Drop it later. Go ahead. Focus.
Y'all definitely want to keep it locked. We got more to talk about. Definitely Tierra's going to spill her tea. We have the lovely Tarsha on here just dropping gems, encouraging people. So you definitely want to keep it locked. Right now, though, we got some new Lecrae featuring Kirk Franklin with Sunday Morning. You're tuned into The Fixx.
The Fixx is in.
I've been messed up. Stressed out with no luck. Every time I wake up, I get a chance to wake up. Thank God I got a chance to wake up. Wake up, another day that can make it go. Get up, 'cause every time I wake up, I get a chance to wake up. Wake up, wake up. Wake up, little slick, get up out of bed. You was like a couple steps away from being out of here. Thank you for my granny prayers. Thank you for my partner now. I thought I was finished, yeah. Jesus told me start again. I will party sundown to days in. Making money that I can't spend. I had a failing marriage and some fake friends. I had to down my doubts and let faith in. Was broken. God done brought me out like I was Moses. I'm chosen. Woke up Sunday morning feeling focused. Money acting. Swipe left, left, yeah. That's on mama's always capping. Swipe left, left, yeah. No more drama. Boy, you know you blessed. Last night was a mess. God just hit refresh. I've been messed up. Stressed out with no luck. Every time I wake up, I get a chance to wake up. Thank God I got a chance to wake up. Wake up, another day that can make it go. Get up, 'cause every time I wake up, I get a chance to wake up. Wake up, wake up. Living a new Diablo. Father touched me like I'm Pablo. Sunday service on the front stoop with a cup of tea in the condo. 20 Evers kicking convo, walking me through my storm. And I ain't grew up hearing gospel, but I got it cooking this morning. I've been through this a time or two. I keep going back, but now I'm finally through. I'm like, if I was God, I'd be tired of you. But he be open arms like he desire you. I'm like, wow. Smoking, sipping, slipping, thought I lost my grip and wow. Pulled me back and told me I woke up Sunday morning, weight up on my chest. Had to remind myself that every day I'm blessed. Every time I wake up, I get a chance to wake up. Thank God I got a chance to wake up. Wake up, another day that can make it go. Get up, 'cause every time I wake up, I get a chance to wake up. Wake up, wake up.
Seasons change the color so quickly, it's hard to keep up with the leaves. Cause everybody leaves. On my birthday, Kobe, Gigi, and 7 souls remind me that the tree of life is so uncertain. And tomorrow has unpredictabilities as colorful as the smiles that took off that day. May that Sunday morning resonate past trophies and trinkets in the ongoing pursuit of more to sober us with the humbling truth. My life and your life is just a vapor. And if what you see is all you see, then you do not see all there is to be seen. Quickly, we leave. It's my time. It's my time. This is my time. Oh, this is my time. Moving forward, I ain't no press rewind. My time. Yeah, this is my time. Oh, this is my time. Love you just so right. This is my time. Yeah, this is my time. Oh, this is my time. Moving forward, I ain't no press rewind. This is my time. Yeah, this is my time. Oh, this is my time. Love you just so right. Got a lot on my mind, but not enough time. Here I go. I believe you're gonna win the fight because you got a heart of a hero. You've been to the fire, go. Now it's morning, cause you've been people. It's my time. Moving forward, I ain't no press rewind. The past is over, living it all the time. Finally now I can see the sunshine. Life is getting better as the day goes by. Gotta wish days and the day was so bright. This is my time, yeah, this is my time. Oh, this is my time. Moving forward, I ain't no press rewind. This is my time, yeah, this is my time. Oh, this is my time. Love you just right, just right. My book, the second verse, I'm flowing this and not rehearse. And every tree's hush with the seed planted in some dirt. Take it from me if you messed up and get up and break every curse. Look at me now, got a new life. This time I'll come first. It's my time. Moving forward, I ain't no press rewind. Past is over, living it all the time. Finally now I can see the sunshine. Life is getting better as the day goes by. Tell me shade and the day so bright. My time, this is my time. Yeah, this is my time. Oh, this is my time. Love you just so right. This is my time. Yeah, this is my time. Oh, this is my time. Love you just so right. This is my time. Yeah, this is my time. Oh, this is my time. Love you just so right. This is my time. Yeah, this is my time. Oh, this is my time. Love you just so right. Yeah. Oh, love you just so right. Yeah. Oh, love you just so right. Try Jesus, not me. 'Cause I throw hands. Try Jesus, please don't try me. 'Cause I'm fine. I know what he said about getting slapped. But if you touch me or mine, we gon' have to scrap. So, try Jesus, please don't try me. 'Cause I'm fine. I have no problem laying these hands. Try Jesus, don't try me. 'Cause I throw hands. Try Jesus, please don't try me. 'Cause 'cause I find. Oh, you said, turn the other cheek. Oh, but this one part of the Bible that just don't sit right with me. So try Jesus. Please don't try me. 'Cause I find I have no problem laying these hands.
City stand up. James left, but the king still reigns here. No tears, no love lost, no rain here. Delivers, I promise, Santa reindeer. Love for the city still resides here. Fix for your ailment, faith that resides outside the lines. Detox your mind, cause it matters. Art outside the box, we paint splatter. The fix is in, and we rock a chin, or we rock with them for what's deep within. Expose those who talk but don't live. Expose those who talk but don't live. Take offense, judged by the fruit from the tree. But if the fruit tastes like the streets, and money is the fruit that they speak, so tell me whose face do they see? Repeat. Take offense, judged by the fruit from the tree. But if the fruit tastes like the streets, and money is the fruit that they seek, so tell me whose face do they seek? The fix is in.
Yes, sir. You're tuned back into The Fixx, your source for faith-infused hip-hop, R&B, and poetry. Just came off a music set. We actually started the music set off with new Lecrae. That Restoration project is out now. Go get that project. We're going to talk about it a little bit. I think it's personally fire, but, you know, I'm subjective. You know, Lecrae, one of my boys. Featuring Kirk Franklin. We also played Dietrich Haddon's My Time. We played Corinne Hawthorne's new single, Pray. And that song that just went off was one of Tierra's favorite songs, Try Jesus, Not Me. Because I lay hands. Toby from the SWAT always coming.
I heard it come on. I was like, because listen, try him, not me.
Why do people think because we say we soft? Like I think it's, I don't know. Y'all help me with this because I struggle with that sometimes too as well.
Either, and I think we need to be a whole thing about it because but the people think Jesus was soft. I be trying to tell people Jesus was not. First of all, how could you be with the people that he was running around with, walking around up to? Like he was how interrupting rituals and things that wasn't like he wasn't here for. The woman that was about to get stoned. You can't be soft walking up in the middle of a circle full of men.
Right.
Okay.
Like, get out my way.
How was he soft? Like, some of y'all was, first of all, how he soft, and most of y'all record fights and don't do nothing about it, but he was going to hold through them and breaking them up because he wasn't here for it. No, Jesus was not soft. Therefore, the only reason you should try him and not me is because he got grace. I don't. I'm still working on it.
Yeah, I'm still working on it. That's gonna be a whole nother show, T. We don't get into that because I got some stuff for that. I don't want to do that to our special guest. Let's get into the tea talk. What we got going on with your tea?
So let me tell y'all what's going on in these streets, honey. So first of all, y'all president, because he is not mine. He is just out of control as always. The death tolls of COVID is said to reach 195,000 by September 12th. So why did I throw him in the mix of that? Because y'all know I say it all the time, if we would have just did what we were supposed to do months ago, and he wouldn't have filed that whole office of the people who, that's their whole job, is to see things like this and help prepare us. So y'all, we got to pray hard. Because what does the Bible say? If my people humble themselves and pray, he'll heal the land. Because by September 12th, they are thinking that 195,000 people will die from this disease or this sickness. And I had it. First of all, I had COVID. It ain't no joke. Like, can we put our mask on, people? Can we please act like we got some sense? Wash your hands. Like, most of this is because people don't wash their hands. Y'all nasty. Wash your hands.
And we definitely praying for anybody who lost anybody to, you know. COVID.
Absolutely. It's not a joke. Like, I almost lost my brother to it. He was on a ventilator for about 2 weeks. They called us and was saying goodbye. So it's not a joke. It's really tearing through families. So yo, please push it. And I'm really not even talking to us because it don't be us. It's other people. I'm not gonna say It's
But
other people.
that's not what the media puts out there, though. The media is always putting it out there like it's the Black community, the African American community who is infecting everybody, which we know that's not what's going on.
Y'all tried it. It's your folks with them AK-47 standing on the dang steps of state houses arguing about a mask. So let's not. But anyway, your boy Steve Bannon and 3 others. So if you don't know who Steve Bannon is, it's part of Trump's little tribe of people. Him and 3 others was finally arrested by the FBI for defrauding thousands of people. So they started almost like a GoFundMe to build the wall between the border of America and Mexico. So hundreds of thousands of dollars they took out these folks' pocket and did not put it towards nobody's building no wall, nothing. So when they tell you they taking your taxes to build walls, child in line, and it's people like him that help make sure that that is a good lie. So they finally arrested. And then Lori Loughlin, y'all remember her? That was the girl or the woman, the actress who took her child and made up all of these transcripts and things to put her child into a better school. And we were going through this whole argument because it was a lot of Black parents who were doing that. And they're currently in prison for years. Well, her husband finally got their sentence. She got 2 months and her husband got 5. So when we're talking about the imbalance between Black and white incarceration, these are the things that are important. Why do we bring this up? Why do we talk about politics? Because it's an election year and we got to wake up and we have to keep our ears and our eyes open because these are the sorts of things that we need to vote with in mind. How did she get 2 months for taking her child and basically trumping her up, making her look better to go to a better school? She got 2 months in prison, but a Black woman who did the same thing, changed her address so her child could not go to inner city school and go to a better, got 5 years in prison. These are the things we want y'all to keep in mind as we're beginning to vote and move into these things. But what's going on in Christian hip hop? So Derek Minor, he's sick of y'all. He tired. He is upset. He mad. He got on Twitter and said, y'all hold Christian rappers to a higher standard than you hold preachers, heads of Christian universities, including Liberty, and even the president. So he went on a rant. I'm talking about tweet after tweet and got people together. Because the truth of the matter is a lot of people are losing or have the mind to leave CHH as a genre because we hold them to this not less than perfect standard and no one else is held to this. And so we judge them on their lyrics. We judge them on the pictures that they take and all the different things that they do. So it's a little friction there. And it's actually an interesting conversation. Tarsha, if you want to kind of weigh in, this idea that because I am Christian, I cannot be or do R&B or anything that looks secular, or you're judged to an even higher standard. So are these people wrong for having a little, you know what I'm saying, a little 808 in their song? Like, because he was even talking about how hard it is to get booked at churches because they're under the label of hip hop and why that's such an issue. So have you, Tarsha, experienced any, like, people want you to stay in this box of being gospel, but you're like, no, I want to do rock and soul and live my best life, and it doesn't change me being a Christian, like, at all?
While you were like, when you first started, like, with, you know, singing back up with Anthony Hamilton, you know, what was your experience there too as well?
I never faced those issues. I don't know if it's because of the celebrity that was attached to it, because these are the same people that adore him. So they be like, bring him to the church.
Yeah.
Artists like Fantasia and Anthony are those artists churches, pastors listen to them. Mm-hmm. So I didn't have the struggle of, you know, singing with him. Of course, when I first left at 22, people swore I backslid. I did hear that from, like, you know, my previous church, the church I grew up in. You know, I heard that there were some people that thought I had, you know, went wayward because I was singing background for an R&B artist. But outside of that, no. And then I've just always been one of those artists where I'm not gonna let you put me in a box.
Yeah.
That's good.
And that's it. So
it just is what it is. If they don't want you to come, don't go there. Go elsewhere. It's such a huge audience. there are so many more churches, even mega churches, that do allow the 808s and don't care at all about, you're not going to be accepted everywhere. I think people need to get that out their mind too. You're not for everybody, not going to be for you, and you can't be for everybody.
Yeah.
There's literally room for all of us. People have their preferences. Some people prefer traditional gospel sounds. Some people prefer 808s for, younger generations. I don't think we should make such a big fuss a lot of times just because some churches have their preferences.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair to force that, on people if they have a certain standard. Then I always say, shake the dust off your feet and go elsewhere. You're not going to be received everywhere.
Yeah.
But do you think that's holding back the gospel being almost delivered to like everybody within the congregation? Because just like you said, certain people, when you go into a congregation, you might have some youth that like 808s. You might have, some grandparents who might like the traditional gospel. Then you might have that in between, to make maybe like a little bit more like Dietrich Haddon, Kirk Franklin. Do you think that's limiting how the gospel can get pushed out by people saying, or churches saying, no, we don't want to hear them 808s over here, or no, we don't want to hear poetry. Even with poetry, we have a lot of faith-infused artists, poets who are not accepted in churches. Why is that? Like, I think when you push the gospel, like it should be presented like an art form any way you can present it, as long as it's the gospel. What's your thoughts on that? I kind of went on a little rant. I'm sorry.
Everybody's not there yet. Yeah. Well, see, everybody's not there yet. Or that's just not their preference for their church. And it's not like these artists are being banned. So that's the beautiful thing about internet and social media. Advertise what church you are performing at, close to whatever these venues are, and these young people can go like they're totally being banned. It's just people need to understand, don't be so offended if you're not accepted in certain churches. Maybe it's some mega church that you wanted to go to and you had this dream of performing in, but you can't be upset because they closed their doors. Create your opportunity somewhere else. And a lot of times those people come back knocking. Like, oh yeah, we ain't know. It's happened with every artist that has broken a new sound or a new way of doing things. Most people are gonna be like this, like, no. Kirk Franklin did that.
Absolutely.
When I was going to the church I was going to, we got in trouble and reprimanded for playing stomp outside the church, and was like, don't you ever play no music like that in front of our church again. Because it was something different. Now you can sing stomp and it's like, oh yeah, that's gospel. It's because it was new. So it's more so taking that approach, like, okay, if they don't want to accept you there, you go where you're accepted, go where you're appreciated. Go where they do accept poetry. T. Khalid gets a lot of work at ministries. That's where most of her bread and butter, I hear, comes from. So people are starting to open up to that, but not all ministries are going to be open to it. Some may never be. I've heard some ministers say when they get a church, they're not going to have, what you call those, liturgical dancers? Praise dancers. Some of them can't stand it. Really? Some people still can't get with that. Yeah, they just like, I hate it. Like, what's the point? It really is a preference thing. And not all dances are created equal, guys. We all know that. There have been people that have just misrepresented.
Yeah. And I thought that's possible. Yeah. So that's hilarious. But to finish up spilling the tea, also the University of Pittsburgh is doing something so interesting. I'm so here for it. They are requiring all of their incoming freshmen to take an anti-racist course. No matter who you are, what creed, color, orange, black, yellow, you have to take this course when entering their school. And so I think that's dope. And I think, like you said, Tarsha, when you see a ministry doing it, everybody else starts to be like, oh, well, wait, let me see what that's doing. Especially if, come on, let's be honest, it's bringing in some money.
Yes.
So hopefully universities start to kind of use that as a means to y'all got to do that over here too. So we'll see what happens. I think the University of Pittsburgh is that's a monumental thing to happen. So that's huge. And then last but not least, one of my favorite artists ever. Just kind of in the secular music world, what's going on? Jay-Z and Pharrell, they got in the studio together and made a track called Entrepreneur. Go listen to it, y'all. Because when I tell you they spilling the tea on how to get this thing started, why it's so important for the Black community, like this is what I'm talking about when I say art is movement. And we can have the other stuff that's just fun, and they got to be heavy all the time. We don't always have to be talking about activism and movement. Like, we need a break, and that's okay. It's okay for us activist folk and the rah-rah people to sit down, breathe, and drink some tea. Like, calm down. And so listen to this song just from a perspective of, again, why it's so important to have Black entrepreneurs in our communities. And it's Pharrell and Jay-Z. So when they come together, it's bound to be a banger anyway. Yeah. So that is all of the street talk I've heard. I'm sure there's much, much, much more. But I'll save for y'all for next week.
No, that song fire though, and I'm glad you brought that up too, because I was actually going to talk about it. I just hope that more artists catch that wave. I think right now that's what we need within artistry. We need more of that wave, more on economics, more on the power of entrepreneurship and understanding how that works, and just at least for our culture. So I'm glad that Jay-Z and Pharrell put that track out. Yes, it is a banger though. So I just wanted to add to that. Yes, fire.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is where we talk about, because I'm sure people gonna have something to say about the fact that we report or we talk about secular music, but there are some
like
areas.
They don't listen to it. Who don't listen to something? What's wrong with you? I'm a married man. I ain't listening to no Kirk Franklin when I'm with my wife.
Who is? That don't make sense. My pastor said
it's on the playlist, baby.
I'm sorry, I love TD Jakes, but I don't know if y'all remember years ago when he put out the Woman Thou Art Loose, but he put out an album for lovers.
Oh, and Tamala Man did it too. Tamala Man and her husband did it, and I was like,
yeah, but TD Jakes did it first, and it was really weird. One song I cannot get out of my head was when he's talking over this track, and it's called Satin Sheet Slide.
TD Jakes? Oh, I got that. I've seen the movies, but I ain't heard no soundtrack with TD Jakes talking about some satin sheets.
It was years ago. I think it came out, it had to have been like early 2000, maybe 2000, 2001.
That's
okay.
They put out an album for lovers.
I'm not listening to TD Jakes. Wow. And I'm not married, but when I get married, I'm not listening
to it. I'm about to bump it. I'm about to bump that boy.
That's so awkward. Like
it does seem awkward.
For spiritual guidance and power. Now he in your ear talking about like get her right. Ugh. No, thank you. That's like listening to
Sacred Love Songs.
It's called Sacred Love
Songs.
TD Jakes and his Teddy Pendergrass voice.
Right. This is what I'm talking about. Stay in your lane. Like that's not, preach. Do that. And do
I'm married. I'm listening to it with my wife too. I'm good.
Yes, it is this one. It's Sacred Love Songs.
So in love. I gotta listen to it.
I'm not here for it. I don't ever want Pastor Vernon to make an album like that. Because I'm
1999. Came out in 99.
1999. He thought that was a good idea. Look, she like, look. Look at the cover. It looks like the
love songs.
Commercials
no, I'm about to listen to
albums.
Wow.
Oh my God, I can't.
So, speak a little bit about because you spoke a lot today about your spirit man and your spirit man being healthy. Speak a little bit about your regular spiritual regimen. What's your spiritual diet look like? Like, do you have devotional books you go to in the morning? I know you sing. Did you get an praise and worship, quiet space for a minute when you first wake up or going to bed? Just share with the audience a little bit of your spiritual diet.
You guys will be surprised to hear that I never sing.
Nope.
Okay.
Literally never. I don't come around the house.
I literally sing when it's time to sing. I've always been one of them singers where it's like, I understand why I was put here and why I was given the voice I was given. So I was never put here necessarily for entertainment. I'm literally here to heal people. with my voice. So I deliver the word of God, whether through prophecy or whatever. I do it when I sing and when I minister. So when I come, it's an experience more so than, oh, she's a great entertainer, she's a great artist. Now, when I have to put the artist hat on, I do. But Jay Penelope, when we would perform, people still leave feeling like I feel like I went to church.
Oh.
Like, because I can't help it. You're still going to leave with something. So my morning regimen, as of late, and I wanted to put that out there too. I do see a therapist. I've been seeing one since my stint in December. We talk every other week now. It was every week. And at one point I was even put on meds, like right after during that time. But I came off of those two, was no longer needed because therapy was working. So I'm solid proof therapy works. And having a strong regimen. And so when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is 6 a.m. prayer. It's with TCI Charlotte. It's Bishop Kevin Long's church here in Charlotte. They've been doing it for 3 years now. Very consistent, and you do this call-in number and put in the code, and literally you get morning inspiration, like every morning. So when he's on, it's literally he's coming from the scripture, he gives you a word for the day, and then we pray. And then sometimes it's some of his other ministers praying, but that's how I start my day out, and that's been like that for the last few months as of late. And then after that, more so in the morning, lately I've been working on my book. So what I've been doing is when I write, I play this worship segment by Timothy Riddick on his 2017 album. It runs for like 16 minutes.
Shout out to Timothy Riddick.
I keep that mug on repeat. And for some reason, it just puts me in it. And I hit him up the other day and told him, like, I've been writing to this. And he was like, oh my gosh, I needed to hear that. That's so inspiring. Like, no, you don't understand. Like, this is how powerful music is. But it allows me to be in this space where I hear from God and I'm able to focus enough to write. So that's been the soundtrack to me writing my book as of late. I have not been reading necessarily any self-help books lately. I've more so been writing one. But one book that I've been kind of tinkering in here and there has been this book, The Esther Anointing. And that's been pretty good. I love how it's empowering for women in the faith, but letting them know, like, it's okay to, like, be woman. We have this role we play that's very powerful and very needed, and that you don't have to try to be like a man to get things done. I love that aspect of how they're doing that. But yeah, that's pretty much what I don't have like this whole like
No, it's all good.
situation. It literally is, and I when I go on my face, that's as needed, because sometimes with prayer, prayer is a constant thing for me. So I pray throughout the day. And I think if you're constantly doing it throughout the day and talking to God, sometimes people think prayer means I got to get on my knees and I got to go through this whole ritualistic thing every time I pray. But it's literally the way that I'm conversing with you. I can sit here and have a thought in my mind like, God, I really need you to help me with such and such and such and such. Like prayer is conversation. It's, it's conversation with God. But when things call for warfare, then I handle that too. So, and then I'm actually going to be, I typically don't announce things like this, but I am going to be fasting at some point. I'm on this 40-day journey right now. Typically I'll do like a 40-day fast at least once a year. Sometimes it's been twice a year. And it'll pretty much be like an extended Daniel's fast type thing, where it's like a renewal. And they say you do a 21-day, that in 3 weeks you can reset how you think. You start new habits and break bad ones. So I'll be doing a 21-day one through the course of this 40-day period that I'm writing. And so I'm sure there'll be some great things that come out of that will, I'm planning to release my first book next year, hopefully the week of my birthday when I turn 40.
So, we getting about to get out of here soon, but we definitely would love to know if you are in the mood to maybe heal us a little bit. Could you bless the audience with your beautiful voice and heal us? Is there anything you could sing for the audience right now? Anything at all? We'd be so grateful. Anything.
There's a song. I'm really I have to record it. T. She did. Was it the song? No, I don't think you did the spoken word before that song. Yes, you did. Before the first song. Well, anywho, there's this song that I wrote that will be my next single coming out for J Penelope, because J Penelope is going more Christian. And so we'll be faced with those things too. Everybody's not accepting of a rock sound, in churches, but I'm okay with that. Our sound isn't like a Travis. Travis is my brother. It's my little brother, Travis Green. But it's not that sound. It's not your Travis, your Rich Tolberts. It's not that sound. It literally is authentic, but with a message of Christ or a message of love and life. So we don't like music. But anywho, this song is called, what's the name of the song to you? I Want It All. I'm like, what's the name of that song? I keep having people ask me, when does it come out? So I'll sing the first verse.
We appreciate it. Whatever you want to sing, go ahead.
So it's for right now though. It's this is for the space I'm in right now. But there's fear, crippled by fear, drowning in tears. I let my past get the best of me, cold, living out of control. But I gotta take hold. If I want what's best for me, I won't let life's trouble break me down. And I'll do what it takes to win, and I want it all. I'll answer the call. This is the moment. I've waited my whole life to take, and I'll risk it all. And I'll take the fall, 'cause I'll get up fighting. 'Cause I am not built to break, and I want it all. Yeah.
Thank you. We can't hear you. You on mute. Yeah, I can't hear nothing. Yeah, your volume went down. But thank you, sis. I don't know what happened to T's volume. Turn your volume up. Your volume went down. I don't know what happened, but yeah, I can't hear you. But thank you, sis. We definitely appreciate it. We definitely looking forward to that, and know that any music you release, it is welcome here on the Fixx Radio Show. We definitely want to rock.
Thank you so much.
One thing I did want to ask you, could you tell the people like some of your inspirations in music? Like, who were some artists that you kind of, when you grew up, that you were inspired by? And also, if you had one artist you could work with, dead or alive, who would that be too as well?
Whitney Houston.
Oh, wow.
Whitney Houston. But alive these days, I love PJ Morton. I do.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of PJ.
Yeah,
sure.
You have a good sound. You have a good sound to go with PJ.
He gives me all the warm fuzzies and stuff. Yeah. Like, it's just, he a whole vibe.
He is a whole vibe. Yeah. And he caught a lot of flack too as well when he first started doing his artistry too as well. A lot of people was, saying, why is he doing certain songs? So I agree with you on that.
Yeah, people need to stay true to who you are. And you'll always be successful and prosperous. You know, I don't need 2 million followers to validate who I am, you know.
That's
Being
facts.
who I am.
If you could give that one little quote or that one last words before you left this earth, what would you give to people?
Pretty much that. Be true to who you are. Even if that faith wavers a little bit, know that God is there. He's always present, waiting for you. You know, even when we steer away, you know, he's there. Guys, Auntie Tierra wants to see you right quick. We can't hear you.
We can't hear you. I don't know what happened to your sound, T. We can't hear nothing, though.
The Crazy Hair Club over here. Say hi. Hi. This is the Fixx Radio. Say hello, guys. Hi.
Oh, young man.
That's Princeton. That's Nolan. And this is Aaron.
What's going on, young man?
That's my crew.
Yeah.
But yeah, stay true to who you are. And I think you'll always be successful doing that.
What's next? Tell the people what's next. What people can look at.
What's next? New music from Jay Penelope. Seeing our faces on the screen. That's coming. ABBA launch, the nonprofit, and a book next year. That's what's coming.
Okay.
I got a lot to do.
Tell the people how they can connect with you, how they can follow you on all your social media, how they can stream your music.
Well, if you want to look at me and follow me, you're welcome to on Tarsha, TARSHA_official. That's my IG. And on Facebook, you look up Tarsha Nicole. And oh yeah, my Live with Friends show is coming back for a new season, enhanced. So that will start on September 21st, every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard, Tarsha Live with Friends. You can see that on Facebook Live, but we're also going to be doing a better job of making sure you guys can, I guess, see it on YouTube or something else too. But
what exactly do you talk about on your show? Is there a specific
we talk about, I like to deal with topics that people, it's not more so a current event type show. It's more so like your traditional talk show hosts of old, where they would talk about things, say like you're talking about blended families, and you bring guests on, you know, and people really watch, and I make sure I have the professionals on there who can offer advice. And so we're going to be bringing another little twist to this season, and but creating that element. I love talking to real people. You know, a lot of times people want to hone in on celebrities all the time and do that whole spiel. But I feel like the voice of the people, you know, people you can really relate to, your everyday person, it's really cool to hear from them and give them that voice back. I feel like they took away the studio audience voice like they did testimony service at church.
Wow. Okay. Well, make sure.
Sometimes some people be having a word.
That's real.
That's right?
Real. Well, definitely make sure
you used to be able to go in the audience and ask questions and all that.
Make sure you send us promo or any radio spots you do for it. We definitely want to promote you and advertise that too as well. So make sure you get that info to us.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Ladies and gentlemen, Tarsha, listen, we definitely appreciate y'all rocking with us today. Make sure you guys follow us on all our social media platforms at The Fixx Radio Show. We have giveaways coming up. Artists that have been emailing us, we are going through getting ready to do our Spotify playlist. So keep emailing us music. We're compiling the playlist as we speak. The website is dropping next week, and we will have merch giveaways, and we're going to have probably some gas card and some Visa giveaways too as well. So definitely follow us on IG, Facebook for the giveaways. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Y'all stop playing us, man. Y'all go to YouTube and subscribe to our channel. Hit that like button. You got great interviews like we just did right here. Fire. Y'all been saying y'all want to see us. Now y'all can see us. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, T, I definitely appreciate you, T, but you know, I don't know what happened to your sound, but bless your life. Remember, stay focused on turning your negative into a positive. Jesus is the answer. Kingdom advancement. The Fixx is in. We out.
Hey, what's good with it, baby? It's your boy Cujo Man out of Louisiana. You're now locked in with Coalition Kingdom DJs. Man, y'all no coalition got to sit on lock, man. Quit playing.